Recently, someone commented on my Doom video saying, run the game on ultra cheap GPU, then complain about optimization. Just upgrade, bro. Unfortunately, I couldn't reply. YouTube probably removed it due to bad language. But here is the thing. You can see the title and the thumbnail of that video. I never complained. I never even used the word optimization. I bought the game just for the viewers so they can get an idea of how it runs on 4GB VRAM. That's it. Yet, here we are. People defending poor performance like it's the player's fault, which forced me to make a video like this. I request you all to watch this video till the end. This is a topic geek YouTubers should be talking about, but they don't. There was a time when next gen meant something. When we used CDs to install games, then DVDs, then digital downloads. Each step forward felt like real progress, but in gaming, something changed. Since RTX launched in 2018, we have been bombarded with buzzwords, ray tracing, frame generation, cinematic fidelity. But 7 years later, where is the leap? Crysis 3 was released 12 years ago. There were hardware limitations back then, but developer pushed through and gave us a game that was ahead of its time. Sniper Ghost Warrior 2, another gem from that era, still beautiful today. This is Battlefield 4 released in 2013. Watch the rain hit the pavement, the reflections, the lighting, the atmosphere. This game came out 12 years ago and it still looks cleaner and more immersive than a lot of modern titles. And that's not even a cutscene, this is actual gameplay. You can feel the intensity of the moment, the weight of the firefight, and it runs buttery smooth even on modern setup. That's what smart design and real optimization look like. Assassin's Creed Unity is an 11 years old game with crowd density most new titles still can't match. Now let's go even further back. Can you guess the game? This one came out 19 years ago, yes, Call of Juarez, Bound in Blood. It wasn't just chasing realism, it stood out with style. Honestly, I could make an hour-long video just showcasing old games that look better and run smoother than today's so-called AAA titles. So, what is next gen now? Is it ray tracing that tanks your FPS? Fake frames generated by AI? Don't get mad at me for calling them fake because they are. They are not real frames, they are interpolated faces. Before this whole DLSS frame gen era, we used to get raw performance straight from the hardware. Back then, even mid-range GPUs had 8 to 10GB VRAM. Today, we still see new cards launching with 6GB or 4GB, while games demand more than ever. Instead of optimizing, they slap in DLSS, then FSR, then frame generation, even multi-frame gen now. And when all that fails, they blame you for not having a 4080. Sure, ray tracing can look cool, but let's be real, it's not even new. Games like PoE 2 RTX and older tech demos were doing this years ago. Now they are pushing path tracing, even more complex, even more demanding. For what? Slightly better lighting, more accurate reflection if you zoom in. Meanwhile, your GPU is screaming and FPS crashes. This is not innovation, it's marketing. Developers are spending time chasing light rays instead of fixing the core game, and that leaves you with a worse experience unless you upgrade just to keep up. I see it in the comments too. Dislikes, assumptions. Maybe they think my system is weak. And you know what? They are right. It is weak. But here is the truth. Developers have forgotten how to optimize. My 4GB VRAM system still runs games like Cyberpunk 2077, God of War Ragnarok, Alan Wake 2, Starfield, even Black Myth Wukong. That list goes on and they are all playable even on low settings. Then you have games like Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Visually average but somehow still perform terribly. Until developers release something better and optimized than these titles, criticizing my system, that's just noise. If you are a 90s kid, you remember Road Rash, Virtua Cop, Pinball, Solitaire. Every upgrade felt real. Every jump in graphics blew our minds. When Crysis 3 launched, people paused just to admire the water. Battlefield 4 destruction was unmatched. Games felt alive and they played like a dream. And now, Call of Duty looks the same or worse. Because today, you need a high-end configuration just to get visuals we used to get a decade ago on mid-range setups. I'm not talking about gameplay or story today, that's for another video. Right now, I'm just talking about graphics and people bragging about their 4090 or 5090 setups. Today's games are heavier, hungrier, buggier, and even somehow emptier, while yesterday's games still shine and run flawlessly on hardware anyone could afford. Most developers now rely on day one patches. Why? Finish your game before releasing it. Take Cricket 24. It launched full of bugs. Why? Because it was World Cup season and they rushed it for profit. Yes, it's better now. I play it almost every day, but it was not the same at launch. When I uploaded my Indiana Jones video with the title of Poor Optimization, the dislike count tripled the likes within 2 days. Then I clarified my point in the comments and changed the title. People stopped disliking, they appreciated the honesty. Sometimes it's not what you say, it's what people assume. So if you want to dislike this video, go ahead, leave a comment. But before you do, show me a real next gen game. One that truly beats the visual and technical brilliance of the titles I just mentioned. Go ahead, I will wait. Maybe the real question isn't what's next gen. Maybe it's this. Why did we stop moving forward? Let me ask you something. Do we really need ray tracing to make a game look good? Should developers keep forcing it into every release? Take a look at this. This is Blades of Fire, a recent released game. The reviews are above average. I'm not talking about gameplay, but just look at this visual. There is fire everywhere, effects all over the screen, and still I'm getting over 70 FPS on maximum settings on a 4GB VRAM system. This is the first video I have truly invested a lot of time into. If you made it to the end, leave a comment. I would love to know what you think.